Hello everyone, this is the evening of a Saturday that I'm filming these blooms to you. I need to show you these Phalaenopsis blooms. These are secondary spikes, as well as give you an update on all my Phalaenopsis orchids and how I grow them. You can take this as the Phalaenopsis update for the month of August 2022. As you can see, these blooms have been lasting for closer to a month now. These are all the blooms I've got. And they have bloomed their full potential, meaning the size and quality are excellent. In my previous video, I've explained to you how I make my organic fertilizer, and these are a product of using that organic fertilizer. For these flowers to come into fruition, I have used more banana peels, dried up banana peels in my fertilizer, and fermented them and sprayed them on my orchids. As you know, they are outside and now receiving direct sunlight. Whether it's rain or shine, this is the spot they are living in, because as I go along I change my setup usually. Now let's get to the plants. Okay, so these two I will be removing because these two are the oldest Phalaenopsis I have currently, which one is in a semi-hydro setup and the other in the same media I used for the semi-hydro setup, but in a normal pot with a bottom drainage. Okay, I'll show it to you. There you go. Right, and there's no drainage. There's the drainage on the side of the canister, onto the back of the canister. Right, I'll keep each on the below rack because that's quite free. Okay, let's leave this for the time being, and I'll first start with this. This is a mini phal, and you can see the top two leaves are smaller. This is a keiki. I'll come to this later, so I will bring this below as well. And I need to get this to the front for focusing. Right, so these two went through a root rot. Right, these two plus all these were the same size when I bought them. Right, all of these are from the same order, as well as these two. Right, but for some reason this also had a primary spike, which I took off because I did not want the plant to go through the added stress of trying to bloom while it's going through a root rot situation. So for these two, what I did was I just cleaned them up, lowered the size of their pot, and repotted them into these two ceramic pots. Right? And as per my usual care, I sprayed the organic fertilizer on this. First of all, I made a more nitrogen and phosphorus based fertilizer. Therefore, it recovered fine. And you can see the roots. Recently, what I did was I took off some of the media from this side and just placed it over, because I'll be reusing them once this root finds itself back to the pot again, because there is a small space inside the legs where the water gets stored. Only on each leg. So there are 4 legs. In 4 places in this pot, the water will be stored. So these aerial roots will be looking for moisture, and they will reach inside the pot. To reach the water. So once it finds itself on its own without me directing it, because I hate touching these new roots, because the moment you touch them, they are so fleshy and so prone to dry off their growing tip. Right? Now I can just place the piece of media just like that without touching, so it will have a secure path to get into the media. Right, you can see there are roots from all over. So this is finally out of the woods. Did you see? There's so much of root inside that. Right? Let me place this again where it was. So this is not a very easy task while holding the camera. I need both my hands for this. Okay, let me try with this hand. Okay. Right. And these two threw off 2 smaller leaves because this is in the recovery mode. It needs more time, and I am sure, as I will also update you, the next 2 leaves will be much larger than these 2. Okay. And you can see after I watered, there's water in the crown. Disclaimer guys, this is how I grow, and these are my experiences and experiments which I am safe with, that I know I will not get crown rot because the air here is too much and too dry. It will dry off. But if you are scared of a crown rot, you can just brush this off, or put a piece of gauze or a piece of cotton or a tissue and soak that water up. I will not do that. I do not have time. I am growing them outside. You can see the roots. So they are on their own. Right? But because of the natural nutrition they are getting from the organic fertilizers, they are immune to any of these outside elements, natural elements, and they are thriving fine. I previously told you that some of my plants went through a root rot due to being introduced to organic fertilizer, because there would be a certain period of transformation and shock to any plant except for Hoyas, and I'm especially talking about Phalaenopsis. There was some root rot issue going on, but what I can tell you, and you can see for your own eyes, that they have thrived once they got immune to the organic fertilizer, which they will definitely, right? Because the elements in organic fertilizer are very natural, so more than artificial fertilizers, they are absorbed quickly and more productively into the plant. So wherever I have aerial roots, I have placed bird's nest fern near the roots, also to combat the dry top layer. And you know, these are clay pots and ceramic pots which I have used, with some in the semi-hydro setup and some with the normal way of potting using charcoal and lava rock as my media. The people who grow Phalaenopsis know that phals love water. So do mine. And as I just horse them down from where it's living, most of the time they get water retention on their trays. This is intentional because I do need some water retention at the bottom of my pots due to the sizes of their pots, so the Phalaenopsis can reach into more water whenever necessary, and this seriously combats dry air and root tip dieback problems. And there has been very minimal sunburns which are hardly even visible. This is one, right, which can also look like a magnesium deficiency or a nitrogen deficiency. And there's another here. I know it's hardly visible, right? So they get rained on and the light very directly onto them, and they have survived and thrived finely in this top shelf, which is 6 feet higher than the ground level. I spray this with organic fertilizer once a week. But if you are using organic fertilizer, you can spray it every 4 days or 5 days, because the longevity of organic fertilizer is very low. However, as per your schedule, you can come up with your own regime of fertilizing to suit your plants. Remember, if you are using clay pots, make sure the media inside is a combination of potting media which is highly water retentive, because the clay is very porous and water will be seeped out or wicked out of the pot very quickly. Since the roots need time to get their water, just a spray did not help for me, but I needed to hose this down or pour water on them using a watering jug, okay, watering can, or anything you can use. You can use rainwater or any water that is 5 or 5.5 of a pH on this. Even our tap water is quite good because they provide us with drinking water, which we obviously boil and drink, but it's really good water. When I talk to you about the mineral buildups, it's less to no mineral buildups if you are using organic fertilizer. That's why I have easy maintenance on this when it comes to flushing or watering, because these Phalaenopsis are extremely healthy, so therefore I do not need to worry about crowns being with water or the media being wet for too long, because this moss is obviously water retentive. That is why I've used that as the top layer to combat the dryness of the top layer. Once you start on a Phalaenopsis orchid, you will know, right? You might get it wrong at first, but from the second plant itself, even, you will know. You will know what to do and what not to do, right, from your previous experience. So therefore, it's up to you to decide how you want to try a Phalaenopsis on your own. Okay, so all mine have larger top leaves, which it should have once the plant has settled into its media and the pot and the growing conditions. But I think because of organic fertilizer, it has increased its capacity not only in growing but also in blooming, which I am so happy, because when the first 3 flowers were opening and has opened, I did not think the last flower would be the same size as the rest of them, but it is, right? So I am so happy and satisfied with this organic fertilizer, because I have not achieved the same outcomes, satisfactory outcomes, with the artificial fertilizer I have been using a year ago. Then I totally stopped fertilizing and I came up with these organic recipes by looking into other channels and on the internet, and I looked into their components, the nutrient levels, and I thought I should try one simple mix of fertilizer. Then it was another whole thing where I was introduced to so much more fertilizers and recipes which I can utilize to grow and have a better growth experience than I was having before. If I tell you a bit about this Phalaenopsis and this, both were bought from a seller here, which buys from the importer. As you know, I buy directly from the importer, but sometimes when these sellers send me requests to buy, I would try them out too, but that was a very bad decision, because once they are imported, they are usually transferred into new media from the old sphagnum moss, which it was living for years on end. But what these sellers had done was they left it in the same sphagnum moss, and I couldn't see the inside of it because they had taken pictures from the top, and I received the plants which, when converted, went through a huge setback. So all the bottom leaves fell off this Phalaenopsis, and these are the newer leaves. All the two top leaves are from the organic fertilizer, which saved my Phalaenopsis. This came as a bare plant. It was in a small cup. I think this was made in Sri Lanka, and this had a very slow growth. But can you see the new leaf after it received the organic fertilizer? This leaf and this leaf is from my care, and even this leaf I'm not so sure. Right, it's finally taking off. This is the one which I have posted flowers of previously. When I brought it back from doing the video, I dropped the pot and I broke it, and then I put it into this. This is also a Sogo Euclidean. This as well was sold to me as a Sogo Euclidean, but a small size plant. These are minis. Okay, and this is also a Sogo Euclidean. These are also hybrids, but I still do not know the color, because they obviously are not the same color as advertised. You have to wait until they bloom, or buy with a blooming flower spike. Right. This I got from a friend, and I subjected this to sunburn. But can you see how it's recovering? It's greening up from all the spots. Most of the spaces it burned off. So you can see the power of organic fertilizer. Okay. And it gave me a secondary spike. Okay. This is a keiki of this or this. I do not remember which. There were 3 or 4 keikis, which only basil keikis, which only this survived. Right. I'll try to place it where it was. Okay guys, I think I should end my update from there. I'll give you one final look at all of my Phalaenopsis. Which are thriving now. And when this top shelf blooms, I will update you again. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Bye.